but I started to go back. When I got back home that weekend, I remember like I went to, um, I didn't watch porn, but I went to masturbate, and I felt like ashamed of myself. I was like, what was the point of this whole weekend if I'm just going to go back into my sins, you know? But there were still seeds that God had to take out, and things that I needed to let go of. And so a couple days later, I think over the retreat, it was as if my life had been like rededicated to Jesus, because he just took me and he was like, look, follow me, you know, because I'm the only way. And so I was watching these testimonies, or no, I was just watching Flyleaf videos, like the band Flyleaf. I really, really like Flyleaf. And ever since, like, whenever I rededicated myself to Jesus, then it was like, it was crazy. Oh, and one thing I do want to say is, like, I believe that he was with me, you know, ever since I got saved when I was a little child, because I believe that little children can come to Jesus even if they don't have full knowledge. They have the faith, and that's what matters. But that moment by the lake was the first time, I believe, that I decided for myself that I was going to follow Jesus, because I had always just kind of done what my parents were doing, and what my family and what my culture was doing in terms of Christianity. But I was like, no, this is something that I want to do, not because anyone told me, but because I believe and I want to do this, you know? And that's really powerful, like really powerful. And that's the way that faith should be, you know? And so a couple days after I got back from the retreat, I was sitting there watching like music videos of Flyleaf, and I saw some live performance videos. And I was watching this live performance, and then in the suggested videos, there was something about the testimony of the lead singer. And I watched it, and if you haven't watched it, look up testimony of Lacey Sturm, Flyleaf, and it's awesome. Please look it up. But and I'll link it below, I guess. That's something that I should do. So I was watching that, and out of nowhere, like she's giving her testimony, and it's like 10 minutes in, and she's like, God loves you, and he loves everyone, and he loves you, but he doesn't love, he loves you just the way you are, but he loves you enough to not let you stay that way. Which I think is just such a cool description of who God is and his character and his love. Which there are so many aspects to God's character we could get into, but that's fine. We'll do that later. So at this point, I had pretty much decided that I was gay, and that's who I was, and nothing was going to change that. And then God stepped in, you know? And I was like, I'm just, you know, coming back from the retreat, I was just like, I'm not sure how I'm going to reconcile this, you know, like, what does this mean for my sexual orientation? And in the video, in the testimony, all of a sudden, like, this was not expected at all. But Lacey is giving her testimony, and then all of a sudden she's talking about God's love, and she's like, I'm so sick and tired of hearing people say that God, like, hates homosexuals, or he hates anyone. Like, God doesn't hate anyone. And he loves you, like, he loves you. And I guess I had just believed that he didn't love me. And I didn't realize it until I, like, was listening to what she was saying, but I had just told myself, look, this is a sin, God doesn't like this, and it's part of you, and so that defines you, and God does not love you, and he can't love you because this is who you are. Like, you are a specifically created person that God cannot like, you know, he can't love. But no, that's such a lie. If you are watching this and you struggle with same-sex attraction, or maybe you don't struggle with it, maybe you just think it's who you are, I want to tell you right now that God loves you. He loves you, He loves you, He loves you, and there's no sin that Jesus' blood cannot cover. Now, with that in mind, after watching that video, I made one of the most pivotal decisions next to actually following Jesus in my life.